Good afternoon. It's Thursday, April 23rd. I just finished listening to Governor Walz talk about what is this situation as it relates to distance learning for the rest of the school year. So I'd like to kind of go over a couple of different things and explain where we are and why we're doing certain things, and just to give you some feedback on what's going on. So number one, we've now been doing distance learning for 3.5 weeks, and I'd like to thank all of you, particularly parents, who have been out there educating your children at the same time you're trying to do your job. And I know how difficult that is, and I greatly, greatly appreciate your effort. I have grandchildren, and I'm watching their parents try to teach them as they're also doing their jobs. And so I can imagine how difficult that is for all of you. So thank you for the phenomenal job that you're doing with your children and providing that very important education for them. We'd love to have them back in school, but as the governor just announced, the distance learning will be extended to the end of the school year. So along with that, there still are a lot of other questions that we have to answer, but for the most part, we're going to continue to do what we've been doing. So parents, we're going to ask you to keep teaching your children at home. Teachers, we're going to ask you to keep working with those children on it from a distance and make sure we're safe with what we're doing. Community members, we're not going to have very many spring events. Graduation and prom will look very, very different. We have some student committees that are working with our high school principal, Brenda Steve, to try to figure out just how we will do some of those. Prom is almost impossible to do from a distance. Graduation, we're talking about a number of different options, and you'll see some of those surveys are going out to senior parents as well as seniors, getting their input on what exactly will happen. Today in the presentation, Governor Walz talked a lot about the dials that he is using to determine just how much interaction we can have and still keep our residents safe across the state. And so we'll watch that and see exactly what we're doing, but we know we're going to have to make significant changes to our typical very busy month of May. Will be very different this year than it's been in the past. I just can't say enough. Last night I came over to a policy meeting here at my district office, and I saw hundreds of you out and about walking with your kids, doing different things, and it's always kind of neat. You're always just a little bit apart from each other, but we're all enjoying the beautiful spring that we're having right now. And I just want to thank you for continuing to think about your neighbors and making sure everybody's staying safe and that the kids at our school are getting the things that they need. So a lot of things still to come. Tomorrow morning, the Commissioner of Education is talking to all of our school districts across the state about some of the specifics of what it's going to look like in May. So we'll get more information out about graduation. We'll have more information to all of you about the end of the year. We need to get some devices back. We need to give you some things that are still in buildings. So those plans all need to stay in place. We have really no idea how some things are going to work this summer. We have extended school year that we do for a lot of our special needs kids. We'll find some way to do it, but it's going to look very different than it has in years past. All sorts of summer events are like Sartell Days. I know they just canceled those, but there are other events done at school that we're just not 100% sure yet how they're going to take place, but we're going to work very, very hard to get that information to you. So we'll constantly try getting this information out. Normally we'll do it through Skyward or through emails to get that to you, but from time to time, I like coming on and talking to you and doing the type of learning that we're expecting our teachers to do right now for our kids, this distance learning process that I'm trying to emulate just a little bit. The other thing that I want to finish with today is to talk just a little bit about next year. We're all very, very hopeful that come Labor Day next year, we bring our kids back to school in the more traditional fashion. So we will be planning to do all of that. But as you know, in our district, we've had a big deal about reconfiguring our grades. So next year, our buildings all change around, and we need to get some information to all of you about how those changes will impact your daily routines. So for instance, There's going to be some differences in bus drop-off times and bus pickup times, when school starts. All that information will be available on our website. I'm trying to think of some ways we could do some distance meetings where you can ask some questions about how those things are going on. Tomorrow morning, for instance, I'm talking to our kindergarten staff to talk about kindergarten busing and how all that will work. So we'll try to keep getting that information out to you. Use our website as much as you can to get that information, but also feel free to email or text us and tell us what's going on and what questions you may have. I love talking about this state and about how we do things together to make sure that things work. And we're very lucky that we have each other to make these things happen. A little reminder, in the governor's first emergency order to close schools and go to distance learning, he told us that May 1st, which is coming up a week from tomorrow, and May 4th, the following Monday, would be non-school instructional days. So in other words, all of the teaching staff will be here doing some work that's mandated by the state as they look at some of the strengths and weaknesses of distance learning. So we will be working on those on that Friday and Monday, and your students will be available for you to stay at home, and we won't have any teacher-led instruction on those 2 days. So just a heads up to make sure you remember that and keep thinking about where your kids are. Again, I just want to thank our community for all the great things you do with your kids and supporting us. We've got, I'm very, very, very proud of our teaching staff. I think they've done a marvelous job. We've got paras providing emergency care workers daycare. We've got custodians working on trying to keep our buildings and get them ready for next year. So I couldn't be prouder of how our district is operating through these tough times. But I'm the most proud to be a community member in the Sartell-St. Stephen School District that provides the education to the kids that they're doing right now. So thank you very, very much. Feel free to give me a call or get contact to any of our building principals. We'll appreciate that much. Thank you.